Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.
On News Hour tonight, Supreme Court reserves judgment in Atiku's appeal against Tinubu. London court quashes $11 billion arbitration award against Nigeria. Bandits invade Musa town in Katsina State, kill 9 people. On the foreign scene, Hamas says more than 5,000 killed in Israeli strikes on Gaza. Hello there, many thanks for joining us in the News Hour on Trust TV. I am Abdurrahman Omar. You're welcome. Now let's begin on this note. The Supreme Court on Monday reserves judgment on appeals filed by presidential candidates of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) Atiku Abubakar and Labour Party candidate Peter Obi, challenging the judgment of the Presidential Election Petition Court that upheld the victory of President Bola Tinubu in the February election. The Apex Court justices, led by Justice Inyang Okoro, also strikes out an appeal by the Allied People's Movement (APM), just as it hears the application of the former Vice President to admit fresh evidence against President Tinubu.
Behind me is the Supreme Court, which is Nigeria's apex court. It has reserved judgment on the appeals filed by the major frontline presidential candidate in a February presidential election in Nigeria. The candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, and his Labour Party counterpart, Peter Obi. Both of the parties are before the Supreme Court, challenging the outcome of the Presidential Election Court on this matter. They have various grounds, but one of the new West ground was, of course, attempt by the People's Democratic Party (PDP) to admit, if you like, or get admitted evidence arising from its discoveries from the Chicago State University concerning the certificates of the incumbent president Bola Ahmed Tinubu. On both appeals, the Supreme Court had listened to both parties' arguments and reserved judgment. While it struck out the appeal by the APM, the APR, which was brought forward in contention of the ruling or judgment concerning allegation of double nomination by the vice presidential candidate, now Vice President of Nigeria, Kashim Shettima. The Supreme Court in this instance said it cannot sit on an appeal determined. That means sitting on a decision that has been taken by the same court. It urged the parties to withdraw the suit, which they did, and then eventually it was struck out by the Supreme Court. Now, the panel of justices of the Supreme Court, led by Justice Inyang Eko, have reserved judgment on the substantive matter, that is on the two major appeals, that of the PDP and the Labour Party. It is for a date to be communicated to the parties in due course. And on the admissibility or otherwise of the new evidence, the Supreme Court has said that it is going to deliver ruling on that particular matter alongside the judgment it reserved. From the Supreme Court here in Abuja, Nigeria's capital, Shapiro Suleiman, Trust TV News.
Still on judiciary matters, the Supreme Court on Monday dismissed an appeal filed by Smart Adeyemi against the judgments of the two lower courts on the All Progressives Congress APC primary election, which held in Kogi State on April 15, 2023. The Supreme Court, in a unanimous judgment, held that the appeal lacked merit, having failed to challenge the concurrent findings of both the High and Appeal Courts or demonstrate that same were perverse. The Apex Court also held that the two issues raised in the appellant's brief were unreasonable, vexatious, not triable, and against the provisions of Section 132 and 133, subsection 1 of the Evidence Act 2011. Adeyemi, who represented Kogi West Senatorial District in the 9th National Assembly, had filed a suit at the Federal High Court seeking to nullify the primary election of the APC, which produced Usman Ododo as the party's flag bearer for the Kogi State governorship election slated for November 11, 2023. The The Apex Court, while delivering judgment on Monday, first struck out the appellant's first notice of appeal. The appellant, having relied on the second notice of appeal, filed and held that the power of the Apex Court in respect of appeals against concurrent findings of the two lower courts could only be exercised when the findings were alleged to be frivolous. The court also described as contemptuous the practice of parties appearing on TV stations to discuss pending appeals. And in another development, Robin Knowles, Justice of Commercial Courts of England and Wales, has quashed a P&ID $11 billion arbitration award against Nigeria. The judgment is coming after 5 years of legal fireworks in the United Kingdom. In 2010, Process and Industrial Development (P&ID) signed a gas supply and processing agreement with Nigeria to develop a processing plant in Calabar. The agreement collapsed in 2012 after P&ID failed to do the work and instituted private proceedings against Nigeria. In 2017, the arbitration tribunal ordered Nigeria to pay $6.6 billion with 7% interest counting from March 20, 2013. Nigeria then appealed against the enforcement of the arbitration award, and the UK court granted the relief, allowing the matter to return to the High Court for trial. The judge upheld Nigeria's prayer on the grounds that the ill-fated gas processing contract was obtained by fraud. The judge agreed with submissions of the Nigeria's legal team that there was overwhelming evidence that the contract and the arbitration award had been procured through an audacious fraud, citing the trial and conviction of some of the actors for corruption and money laundering. Meanwhile, President Bola Tinubu has applauded the judgment of the London court awarding a landmark victory to the federal government of Nigeria. Tinubu, in a statement by his special advisor, media and publicity, Ajuri Ingilade, said the judgment proves conclusively that nation states will no longer be held hostage by economic conspiracies between private firms and corrupt officials who conspire to extort and indebt the very nations they swear to defend and protect. Tinubu said Nigeria is appreciative of the tremendous efforts of the defense team and acknowledges the role of the Federal Ministry of Justice and the Office of the Attorney General in the process of defending Nigeria's interests in this case. We now have joining us via Zoom from UK Dr. Nasru Aminu, an academic at the University of Cardiff. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us on NewsHour.
Thank you very much for having me.
Now, what are the implications of this judgment which reversed the arbitral award made against Nigeria in 2017 in favor of P&ID for an alleged breach of a gas supply and processing agreement? What lessons do you think should government learn from scenarios such as this?
Right. Thank you once again. The main law we have to look at is the reputation for Nigeria, and we also look at how the Nigerian people have. First of all, if you talk about the reputational risk for Nigeria, there was an allegation of corruption, and there is a breach contract on the side of Nigeria taken by Process and Industrial Development. And then there's lack of duty from the Nigerian government. If we are going to look at this objectively, it tells us a lot of things about governance in Nigeria. Now, if we look at the Nigerian people, we want to look at the implication. The contract had had Nigeria to receive about 8% of the non-associated gas involved in that processing, and it was used for electricity generation for young people and industrialization at no cost. And Nigeria was supposed to take 10% from that plant. So it was more a costless, It's a costless thing for Nigeria. But what we are beginning to see here is that Nigeria took this so much personal about on whether they have to do it and without looking at that or the wider public good that they are going to. And in that process, the international investors are going to be, they will be looking at coming into Nigeria, saying that there is no contract enforcement in Nigeria, which is something that is very significant for international investors. These implications are very far-reaching for Nigeria, and to learn lessons from this, because the damage that it has done to Nigeria is far-reaching, and there's going to be a lot of doubt with business with an emerging country, especially a country that is aspiring to double its GDP in 3 years.
All right, Doctor, would you say that Nigeria dodged a bullet? I mean, looking at the judgment handed down today, found that the award had been obtained by fraud and in a way which goes contrary to public policy. Would you say that?
What I'm looking at, I am an economist and I always look at things from an economic perspective. For the common man or Nigerian government, if they are going to tell you that they have found a way not paying $11 billion, good, no doubt about it. At what costs? We have to be looking at it at what cost. If they had worked with what Jonathan has done in 2015 and settled out of court, and let's continue to. Just in 2018, Nigeria has fled more gas than it was producing. And between 2011, 2021, Nigeria has lost hundreds of billions of dollars. At what cost? If you knew you were going to win hundreds of billions of dollars, wouldn't you try to get out 11 billion? I mean, that's cost of doing business. But I'm not saying, yes, people should celebrate, but we should also look at what is happening now and what we have forgot to do. What was the initial tip of setting up this up? Everybody has forgotten about it.
All right, Dr.
This project was supposed to be producing city to Nigeria. Now we are darkness, and the country is in darkness, complete darkness. But the of gas we flare a year with this project is more than what we have to gain.
All right, now looking at the arbitral award of $9.6 billion, which has accrued interest and now stands at $11 billion, will have crippled the Nigerian economy, some will say. Now, is this economic sabotage or sheer brinkmanship? And how does government should avoid falling into these kind of booby traps in the future?
Right. Thank you for this question. Clearly, this, I think, is just lack of due diligence on the Nigerian government, and we have to learn from it. We refuse to, if we keep pushing blames on us, then it's a problem. Right from 20 up until 20 when this case started, it's lack of due diligence. There's a breach of contract as well. So this is not economic sabotage. I'm sorry, I forgot your second question.
All right. I mean, how should government continue to avoid these kind of booby traps in the future?
Right. It's clear. It's open and clear. Like I said, there are just two things that you want to look at. Breach of contract enforcement is important. But before you do before you sign that contract and enforce it, you have to do due diligence. It's simple as that, and these are simple principles of government, and which is what the Nigerian government failed to do and kept blaming it on other people. As of now, I'm very much surprised, there is nobody that has been, there is no, if it was in a sane society, that has cost government, a lot of money. We're talking about millions of pounds here, for, going to court. There should be at least a committee to investigate how we went wrong here. How do we learn about this? But, everybody is just saying, let's celebrate and forget about it. No, we should not forget about it. Right. We shouldn't. I do not. We call for and we advocate that we should make sure the due diligence is followed all the time, due process is followed. And when contract is awarded as a Nigerian government, we should at least be honorable enough and honor it and enforce it.
All right, thank you so much for that wonderful insight, Doctor. Thank you for taking the time to speak with us.
Thank you very much for having me. All right.
Now, there we had Dr. Nasru Aminu, a lecturer at the University of Cardiff, explaining to us the judgment reversing the $11 billion arbitral award to PNID against Nigeria. Now, moving on to security matters. Bandits in their numbers have raided Damusa town, the headquarters of Damusa local government area of Katsina State, killing 9 residents. A resident of the town who spoke on condition of anonymity told our reporter that the gunmen attacked the town around 8 p.m. on Sunday and operated for hours, killing 9 people, including a policeman. He said the bandits also kidnapped a yet-to-be-ascertained number of people and wounded several others. He added that the attackers conducted a house-to-house raid and carted away valuables. Another source in the town said 2 of the deceased victims were his neighbors, adding that the policeman was killed during the house-to-house raid after they saw his uniform. Unconfirmed sources in the community said the attackers might be on a reprisal mission, as one of the bandit leaders was captured and killed by the newly commissioned Community Watch Corps in the local government. The police spokesman in Katsina, ASP Abubakar Sadiq Aliyu, who confirmed the last night attack, said 5 persons were killed. Elia Trust TV's Abdullahi Ahmadi, who spoke to residents of the area, gives an update.
Well, according to reports from Damusa town, the 9 people killed by the bandits have been buried according to Islamic rites, and sympathizers are already trooping to condole families of the victims. While reacting to the yesterday's attack on Damusa town, some residents commended the resilience and firmness of the fearless members of the Community Security Watch Corps, many of which residents are saying, if not for their presence, the town would have seen the deadliest attack it has never seen since the beginning of this banditry. They say what they are seeing from the bandits is not surprising because they want to show their capabilities by challenging the Community Security Watch Corps, which is their #1 enemy for now. And similarly, residents are also saying since the deployment of the State Security Watch Corps to Damusa, the bandits and their collaborators have never known peace, as both informants and bandits are hunted and dealt with decisively. The Security Watch Corps have more advantage than the military and police personnel because they are used to the terrain, they know themselves, and they also know the bandits as well as the informants to the bandits. So it is not surprising if they are winning the war. But one important thing is there is the need for synergy and collaboration, and of course collaboration that works between the core security corps, the police and the military. This is very, very important, and there's no better time to do that than now. It is most needed now.
Now, operatives of the newly created Katsina State Community Watch Corps has been engaged in an extensive training in intelligence gathering, surveillance and basic self-defense techniques. Trust TV's Jamil Mebay reported that the move is in a bid to combat the rising wave of banditry and insecurity in Katsina State.
This initiative aims to combat the increasing banditry and insecurity in the state. Members of the Katsina State Community Watch Corps have undergone training in intelligence gathering, surveillance, and basic self-defense techniques.
To that end, he felt the need to establish this Katsina State Community Watch Corps with the sole aim to augment the existing security asset of the state, because the security asset in the state is not enough to cover almost every area in the state. There are not many. So he decided to bring about this issue of Community Watch Corps.
The Community Watch Corps, which is supported by law and equipped with operational vehicles, are prepared to confront the security situation in the affected areas.
He started with the first frontline 8 local governments. Look, in each of these 8 local governments, some young men were screened and recruited and trained to become the Katsina State Community Watch Corps in order to add off to the existing security personnel we have in the state.
The operatives, many of whom have been directly or indirectly affected by the bandits, are armed with pump-action rifles.
We are not trying to divide these young chaps to go to their various wards or villages to work. They are going to work as a team. Whenever there is any operation, they will go alongside the police, the vigilante for the operation. They are not going to separate.
The Katsina State government started very well. What we are hoping now is consistency.
Over the years, bandits have terrorized communities, especially in the frontline local government areas in Katsina State. They kill, maim, rape, kidnap residents, and loot properties, in addition to crippling economic activities in the northwestern state. Katsina State shares borders with neighboring states and Niger Republic, making it crucial for authorities to find a local solutions to the challenge.
It is a good effort. It is what we call community approach to the banditry crisis or banditry issue.
Security experts are urging other states affected by the banditry to adopt a similar approach for a more comprehensive result. Jamil Mabay, Trust TV, Katsina.
Now, the family of Faiz Abdullahi, who was allegedly tortured to death while in custody of the police in Kau, Kaduna, is still demanding justice over the death of their child. The mother of the victim says months after the incident, the family is still devastated due to shock and trauma. Our correspondent Bella Musa visited the resident of the deceased at Kubara community of Haimbanki, Kaduna, and sent in this report.
This has been her reaction for months whenever she remembers her son Faiz Abdullahi, who was allegedly tortured to death while in police custody in Kaduna.
His death is still fresh in my mind. I am traumatized and unable to sleep because I am still living in pain.
Justice for her son Faiz Abdullahi is what she is demanding, saying the authorities concerned have to do something to ensure that justice is served.
I am appealing to the government as my last hope to help and ensure justice is served in the death of my son.
Despite the frustration the family is facing while pursuing the case for months, Faiz's brothers say quitting is not an option. We are beginning to lose hope because we don't know if the police can fish out the suspects and ensure that they are punished. We even went to Abuja and yet nothing has been done. We will not relent because we are still pushing for justice for our brother, and we want the authorities concerned to ensure justice is served. Mukhtar Muhammad is a human rights activist. He says, despite the petition by the family regarding Faiz's death, they are yet to get tangible feedback from the police in Kaduna.
We used to visit the police headquarters in order to ascertain the cause of the investigation by the police. So, as I'm telling you, we didn't get the fact from them. So that led us to write another petition to Inspector General of Police in order to transfer the case from Kaduna Command to Abuja to make sure that justice is served.
The Public Relations Officer of the Kaduna State Police Command, ASP Mansur Hassan, while reacting via phone said a committee has been set up to investigate the matter, adding that the affected DPO has been suspended while investigation is still ongoing. Bello Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
The Borno State Governor Babagana Zulum has commissioned the newly rebuilt Monday Market in Maiduguri that was razed by fire early this year. The governor has said the reopening of the market became necessary to help support the livelihood of traders and residents. Bitrus Kurizi has more.
It would be recalled that the popular Monday Market in Maiduguri went up in flames with goods worth billions of naira burnt to ashes. The largest market in the metropolis was shut down for rehabilitation that lasted months. With the reconstruction project complete, Governor Zulum on Monday commissioned and reopened the Monday Market.
It is my singular honor and privilege to commission this newly rehabilitated, burned down Maiduguri Monday Market to the glory of God and to the benefit of the community. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
He said the market reopening will create a source of livelihood for thousands. He added that those not included in the allocation of shops will be supported.
When you translate the total number of beneficiaries that are benefiting from Monday Market, it amounts to nothing less than 300,000. So this figure is much. Rebuilding back Monday Market, that means we are bringing back means of livelihood to thousands of people. Without means of livelihood, we shall witness a lot of things, including insecurity. Those that couldn't get allocation in the market could go a long way in alleviating the sufferings of thousands of people in Borno State.
The governor also flagged off the construction of 11 roads and drainages at St. Marie, Jere, and Mafa local governments.
This area, St. Marie, especially this area, used to be completely overflooded by water during the rainfall. The people in this settlement found it very difficult for them to move out from their settlement, even to their place of work and place of their markets.
As Maiduguri Market comes to life again, there is no doubt that in the coming days, the commercial hub will be a beehive of activities with people across the state and northeast patronizing the market. Bitrus Kuruti, Trust TV News, Maiduguri.
Now, President Bola Tinubu has promised the Nigerian business community that crucial plans are being put in place to improve foreign exchange liquidity. He spoke on Monday at the opening of the 29th Nigerian Economic Summit in Abuja, stressing that his administration will honor every legitimate contract with respect to the nation's foreign exchange obligations. Kendi Amudu reports.
President Tinubu at the Nigerian Economic Summit is the rubbing of like minds. The two parties here are speaking the same language. So it must be reassuring to the captains of industry gathered to hear the president say that government is not blind to the challenges being faced in the financial markets.
I can only allay these concerns by revealing that we have a good line of sight for the additional foreign exchange liquidity that is required to restore market confidence. And we are going to do that.
President Tinubu is confident that by working with the private sector, financing the $3 trillion national infrastructure stock can be achieved in 10 years and not in 300 years, while the construction of megacities in every geopolitical zone of the size and scale of Lagos can be achieved in 1 decade.
A $1 trillion economy is possible by year 2026. And a $3 trillion economy is also possible within this decade.
Also speaking on the side of government, Minister of Budget and National Planning is harping on better cooperation between government and the private sector, especially in the evolution of development plans.
We are a nation where in every financial year, at least 800 public budgets are presented, 774 in different local governments, 36 budgets in the state and FCT, as well as the federal government. So there is an irreducible minimum of policy linkage and coordination that is required in order for this to deliver the promises that Nigerians hope.
Nigeria's foremost private sector think tank and policy advocacy group is stressing the need for the transformation of the country's economy into one that is competitive, inclusive, and open, which will only be possible if leaders in both public and private sectors work together to achieve identified national values. The first step to take is to tackle the present challenges which may cripple the economy if not addressed.
The low access to and the increasing cost of FX, the high cost of inventory, of imported inputs and operations, coupled with the diversity of taxes, continue to erode business balance sheets with resultant contraction in production and in employment.
Government has introduced several measures to resuscitate the economy, including the 500 billion naira intervention to support small businesses and the agricultural sector. By January 2024, the new student loan program and consumer credit schemes will have come into effect. The question is, will these interventions go far enough? From the Federal Capital, Kehinde Amodu, Trust TV News.
And now in a sad development, at least 5 people have died and several others injured after a tanker conveying petroleum products fell in Moro local government area of Kwara State. The incident, it was guarded, occurred weekend about 1 hour and 30 minutes after the tanker with inflammable product fell and went up in flames when people were scooping the product. Residents whose cars were parked close by hurriedly removed them to avoid being caught while the fire lasted. Narrating the incident, an eyewitness told newsmen that the inferno was ignited by a fire from some residents who were cooking close to the area. The tanker fell. The sources who craved anonymity said some of the victims who were rushed to the hospital later died, while others were transferred to a hospital because of the severity of their burns. The spokesman of the Kwara Fire Service, Hassan Hakim Adekunle, who confirmed the incident on Sunday, said the fire was handled by the fire service of the Jiba paper mill, adding that several people were injured while some victims later died at the hospital. You're watching News Hour on Trust TV. Coming off after the break, we take a look at calls for justice for a 58-year-old mother. Details of that and more after the break. Please stay with us.
As a demonstration of its commitment to provide sustained access to basic healthcare for all Nigerians, the Federal Government of Nigeria, through the National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, NPHCDA, has established the Basic Healthcare Provision Fund, BHCPF. The Basic Healthcare Provision Fund is designed to deploy Operations Fund directly to primary healthcare facilities in every political ward nationwide to ensure the availability of quality PHC services to all Nigerians, irrespective of where they live or work. The Basic Healthcare Provision Fund guarantees 24 hours availability of midwives, other health workers, and health supplies in at least one PHC in every political ward. Ask from your local government health department for the BHCPF PHC in your ward to get more information and benefit from the services. Think access to healthcare for all. Think universal health coverage. Think Basic Healthcare Provision Fund. This message is from the Federal Ministry of Health and National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, NPHCDA. For further inquiries, call the NPHCDA toll-free number 7722 or visit www.nphcda.gov.ng.
Are you interested in the latest news and developments in Nigerian politics, policy, governance, and other critical national issues? Look no further than Daily Politics on Trust TV. Our panel of experts and key people in government provide in-depth analysis and commentary on the biggest stories in Nigerian politics.
And 33.3 million Nigerians are suffering from multidimensional poverty. It's a much calmer Buhari than the Buhari who was in the khaki uniform.
Naira to Naira X rate is higher anywhere in the world. the naira is higher than our exchange rate. So you want to tease central bank governor you're doing, you must do it fast.
Number of casualties we have had, we shouldn't have had. Security, as far as Nigeria is concerned, we have wronged.
From the inner workings of government to the latest on legislation, rule of law, implementation, and democracy, we have you covered. Don't miss out on the latest political news and discussion. Tune in to Daily Politics, weekdays on Trust TV, your source for reliable and unbiased coverage of Nigerian politics.
Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is the News Hour on Trust TV, and here is a recap of some of our top stories. Supreme Court reserves judgment in Atiku's appeal against Tinubu. A London court quashes $11 billion arbitration award against Nigeria. Now to other stories. As the elections in Kogi, Imo and Bayelsa draw nearer, the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has unveiled modalities for conducting the elections and a short of using IREF to upload results. In this report, Noel Samson speaks to INEC's Acting Director, Voter Education and Publicity to clear the air on the controversy behind IREF and other issues ahead of the elections.
The INEC Result Viewing Portal, IREF, is an online portal where polling unit level results are uploaded directly from the polling unit, transmitted and available for public monitoring. This means the portal is not meant for collecting of results, as may be mistaken by many.
One of the challenges we have is the issue of people not understanding what the use of IREF actually is. Like I said, IREF is not a collation instrument. The Commission doesn't collate results with IREF. What it does is just to allow people to view results of the polling unit by polling unit. And the Commission intends to deploy this instrument again for the Kogi, Imo and Bayelsa election. And the essence is just for people to be able to view the results in real time. It is not for collation purposes. And if I may let you know, the law states that every particular political party is expected to have a representative at each polling unit, and the law allows INEC to give the result of each polling unit to each of the political party agents present at the polling unit.
She also addressed the issue of deploying core members for the elections and their security.
The Commission does not have the manpower to be able to conduct elections. Take, for instance, for the general election, we used over 1 million officials. And for the Bayelsa, Imo and Kogi now, we also need large number because each polling unit, you must have 4 officials. That's the presiding officer and 3 assistant presiding officers. The Commission is doing quite a lot to ensure the safety of not just the NYC, but everyone, including the voters that will come to vote on election day. Like the Honorable Chairman of the Commission will always say, that he will never be happy when a single Nigerian lost his or her life or is injured because such person is participating in the election.
Nigerians are hopeful that the upcoming elections will reflect the will of the people. Noel Samson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
The Lagos State candidate of the People's Democratic Party (PDP) in the 2023 governorship election, Abdulaziz Olajide Adediran, popularly known as Jandur, has asked the President of the Court of Appeal, Justice Monica Dongban Mensim, to transfer the hearing of his appeal to Abuja. In a letter dated October 23, 2023, and addressed to Justice Dongban Mensim, Jandur said the transfer will ensure fairness and objectivity, devoid of potential meddling. On October 13th, Jandur filed 34 grounds notice of appeal challenging the September 25th judgment of the State Election Petition Tribunal. In the grounds of appeal, the PDP candidate and his party also reiterated the reliefs in their petitions, asking for the disqualification of the candidates of both APC and LP. Jandor also wants the Court of Appeal to hold that all the votes recorded for both candidates and the APC in the said election were wasted votes owing to their non-qualification to participate in the election. He said having scored the third highest number of votes in the election and having satisfied the provisions of the Electoral Act 2022, he is the validly qualified candidate to be returned as the winner of the said election. In the meantime, the Adamawa State High Court has scheduled the arraignment of suspended resident Electoral Commissioner Rek Hudu Ari Yunusa for November 6, 2023. Hudu faces multiple charges, including announcing false electoral results, breaching his oath of neutrality, disorderly conduct during elections, inciting disturbance, and impersonating a public servant. Originally set for July 27, 2023, the arraignment was delayed due to the Rek's failure to appear in court. As a result, Justice Benjamin Manjilol was forced to adjourn the case for the third time. And in another development, the family of a 58-year-old mother victim in Gombe Metropolis are demanding justice from authorities investigating the circumstances around her death. Aisha Abubakar was gruesomely murdered at her residence in Jikada Ferry area of Gombe State Capital on Friday night. Trust TV's Ibrahim Ismail reports.
These are the relatives and well-wishers mourning at the residence of late Aisha Abubakar, known as Adadamori, brutally murdered on 20th October 2023. The suspect reportedly called the victim on phone while she was at her neighbor's house, but it turns out that she answered the wrong call.
Ta fito ta ji shiga makota gidansa kenan sai suka mata waya. Sai ta ce su waye ne kam?
The culprits called her on the phone while she was at a neighbor's house. They told her that she has some guests. She went to see them. On Thursday, we spent the whole night discussing together. She was treating an eye illness, so I wanted to revisit and see her. Then this happened. May Allah forgive her. Let Aishatu's neighbor, who was shocked by the incident, called on relevant security agencies to strengthen security in the state. Such crime can only be averted when the perpetrators are punished publicly to discourage others from committing the same crime. Government should take action and bring the culprits to book. This will serve as a deterrent to others. Nigeria Police Gombe State Command said it has arrested a suspect in connection with the incident. Aishatu's tragic killing comes 2 months after the murder of an Islamic cleric, Sheikh Ibrahim Albani Nkuri, in a similar circumstance. Ibrahim Ismail, Trust TV News, Gombe.
The National Orientation Agency has assured Nigerians of its commitment to ensure that the government plays its role in the drive to rekindle the spirit of patriotism among Nigerians. This newly appointed Director General of the agency, Larry Isa Onilu, gave the assurance when he received the handover notes from the outgoing DG, Garba Abare, at the agency's headquarters in Abuja on Monday.
I'm not completely oblivious of the challenges here. And I also, in the last few days, I've seen the tremendous work that you people have been doing. I'm not coming to clean up anything, because what I am seeing and have seen is about continuity and improvement wherever we need to improve. As long as you are asking the country, the people, the citizens to be patriotic, the country also must justify it. must put the conditions in place for people to love the country. And so our job will not just be mobilizing Nigerians, convincing them, persuading them to love the country. Our job also includes the leaders, for them to do things that will make people to naturally feel connected, emotionally connected to the country. It flows naturally. You cannot enforce patriotism. You have to nurture it. We need to be conscious of the fact that this country needs a code of conduct. And we must understand exactly who we are supposed to be as Nigerians.
Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps NSCDC has arrested 76 suspects over an alleged plan to contract same-sex marriage in Gombe State. Parading the suspects at the NSCDC headquarters in Gombe, the command's public relations officer, Buhari Saad, said they were arrested during a homosexual party in the state. Ibrahim Ismail reports.
These are the suspects arrested on the 21st of October by the Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps over alleged plans to contract a same-sex marriage in Gombe State. They were arrested at a homosexual party convened by the prime suspect, Bashir Sani, known as Bushirat Gombe.
In the command's drive and effort to stamp out all forms of crimes and criminalities in the state, including stamping out also bad elements in the society, the command have made arrest of 76 suspects who are suspected homosexuals in the state metro police. They were arrested at Dua Plaza along Bauchi Road, holding homosexuals' birthday. And in that birthday party, there is the intendment to hold a same-sex marriage in the state. So our men, acting on a tip-off, raided that place, and hence the result of having 76 suspects in our custody.
The 76 suspects include 59 males and 17 females, while the NSCDC's evidence indicated that the event was planned same-sex marriage. The alleged homosexual bride, Bushrat Gombe, gives different account. I met two boys in Kano, and they were not aware that I have a birthday party. After I returned to Gombe 2 weeks ago, I planned the event. No one is sponsoring me. This is all I know. 21 of the suspects have confessed to be homosexuals and lesbians. They are expected to be arraigned in court soon. Ibrahim Ismail, Trust TV News, Gombe.
You are still watching News Hour on Trust TV. We'll be right back after this short break. To stay with us.
That's right, you too could be one of the 20 Zenith Bank customers that will win 150,000 Naira every 2 weeks from June 1st, 2023 until May 31st, 2024 in the Zenith Better Life Promo 3. To qualify, simply open a Zenith Bank account. For more information, visit www.zenithbank.com/betterlife. Live the better life with Zenith Bank.
Welcome back. Now, Nigeria's Vice President Kashim Shettima will meet the President of the African Development Bank, AFDB, Akinwumi Adesina, at the World Food Prize Foundation's Norman E. Bullock International Dialogue in Des Moines, Iowa, USA. The event kicks off on Tuesday, 24th October 2023. A statement by the Senior Special Assistant to Vice President on Media and Communications, Stanley Kocha, says Shettima will deliver a keynote speech at the event's plenary session on Tuesday, 24th October, and later participate in a side event on the African Agriculture Dialogue on Special Agro-Industrial Processing Zones. On Thursday, he will take part in a fireside chat with the AFDB president. The BOLAC Dialogue brings together individuals from more than 65 countries to address cutting-edge issues related to global food security and nutrition. This year's theme is Transforming Food Systems, a Global Action Agenda. Vice President Shettima will use the platform to speak to Nigeria's strong agricultural sector potential and push for commitments in achieving President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's mandates and programs for Nigeria's agro-food sector. And now let's join Chamong Debang for the business news update.
The federal government says it had drawn in over $2 billion in investments in the renewable energy industry in the last 10 years. The Director of Promotion and Outreach Rural Electrification Agency, Mutari Ibrahim, who disclosed this, also said in furtherance of these accomplishments, it formed alliances with the World Bank, African Development Bank, Global Alliance for People and Planet, Rocky Mountain Institute, and Japan International Cooperation Agency. Others are the Global Environment Facility, United States Agency for International Development, United Nations Industrial Development Organization, United Kingdom Nigeria Infrastructure Advisory Facility, Sustainable Energy for All, and the European Union. According to Ibrahim, from 2020 to date, the agency has provided power to over 7.5 million people, including 1.5 million households, by delivering 130 mini-grid projects, including 1.3 million standalone home systems. He added that by deploying more than 1,650 kilometers of solar street lights, the organization has enhanced rural regions' access to electricity, security, and economic growth. The Federal Capital Territory FCT Minister Nyesom Wike has ordered that tax clearance certificates, TCCs, be verified before any business activity takes place in the FCT. The Mandate Secretary in charge of Economic Planning, Revenue Generation, and Public-Private Partnership of the FCT Administration, FCTA, Charles Elechi, announced this on Monday while addressing journalists in Abuja. Elechi said federal government ministries, departments and agency MDAs, commercial banks and FCT secretariats, departments and agencies, SDAs, are all permitted to request and verify TCC under these provisions. Elechi clarified that the goal of putting these regulations into effect is to guarantee that all qualified taxpayers in the FCT pay their taxes. He said that by doing this, the FCT administration will be sure to receive resources it needs to offer citizens of the FCT basic services. That's all for business news. I am Chamun Dabeng.
And on the international scene, Gaza's Hamas-run health ministry on Monday said more than 5,000 people have been killed in the besieged Palestinian enclave since Israel launched its withering bombing campaign more than 2 weeks ago. Alarm has soared about the spiraling humanitarian crisis in Gaza amid the war sparked by the October 7th Hamas attack that Israel officials say killed more than 1,400 people who were gunned down, stabbed or burnt by the Islamist militants. Hamas also took more than 200 hostages on a day when Israel's army reported more than 300 new strikes within 24 hours. Gaza's health ministry said the death toll had soared above 5,000, with around 40% of them children. Thousands of buildings have been destroyed and more than 1 million people displaced in the territory that has been under siege are largely deprived of water, food and other basic supplies. About a dozen trucks carrying desperately needed aid, the third convoy in 3 days, arrived inside Gaza from Egypt on Monday through Rafah, Gaza's only crossing not controlled by Israel. The United States, which has brokered the entry of the 8 convoys, has vowed a continued flow of relief goods into Gaza, even as UN aid agencies have said far more is needed. And now on Sports News Update, let's join Emmanuel Fashemi.
Nigeria Super Eagles have been ranked the most valuable national team in Africa. The information was made available in an infographic displayed on the Super Eagles official X handle. Jose Pesero's side are valued at 451.60 million euros. The three-time African champions are also now ranked the 10th most valuable national team in the world. The Three Lions of England top the ranking and are followed by France, Portugal, Brazil and Spain. Argentina, Germany, Italy and Netherlands complete the top 10. The Super Eagles defeated the members of Mozambique 3-2 in their last friendly played in Portugal. Jose Pesero's side will be in action in 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifiers next month. The West African will host the Crocodiles of Lesotho at the Godswill Akpabio International Stadium, Uyo, on November 13th, 2023. They will then travel to our Mahoro Stadium, Kigali, for a match day to Ekanta 5 days later. Google Doodle has celebrated legendary Nigerian footballer Rashidi Yekini on what would have been his 60th birthday on Monday, October 23, 2023. Born in Kaduna, Nigeria in 1963, the late Super Eagles striker's life story was a testament to determination and talent that overcame adversity. Yekini faced significant challenges in his early life, including periods of homelessness and taking up jobs as a welder and mechanic to make ends meet. Despite these hardships, his unwavering passion for football was evident. In 1981, Yekini joined his first football club, UNTL FC in Kaduna, marking the beginning of a remarkable career. Yekini's journey took him to the Shooting Stars in Ibadan, where he left an indelible mark by scoring an impressive 45 goals in just 53 appearances. His exceptional goal-scoring abilities earned him the African Footballer of the Year in 1983, making him the first Nigerian player to achieve this honor. In the following year, he played a pivotal role in leading the Shooting Stars to the finals of the African Championship Cup. Beyond Nigeria, Yekini showcased his talent on the international stage, playing for clubs in Spain, Tanzania, Saudi Arabia, Portugal, Tunisia, Switzerland, and Greece. During his time with the Portuguese team, Vitória Setúbal, he received the prestigious Bola de Prata Silver Ball for being the top scorer in the 1993-1994 league season. Yekini's contribution extended to Nigeria national team, the Super Eagles, as he played a crucial role in their qualification for Nigeria's first World Cup in 1994. On June 21st at the Mondial, in a historic match against Bulgaria, Yekini scored Nigeria's first ever World Cup goal. His iconic celebration clutching the net with tears of joy remains a cherished moment in football history and serves as the inspiration for today's Google Doodle, which is being used to celebrate the popular footballer. And that is it on sports. I am Emmanuel Fashini.
And with that, we have come to the end of the Trust News Hour. Do not forget to follow us across all our media platforms and our YouTube live stream for more news, programs, and documentary. I am Abdurrahman Umar. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.
From the Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.